Hello, you didn't get any warning, did you, Sue? How are you? So we tried something different this morning, and normally the countdown, you get 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, but we did start a couple of minutes early. I would love to introduce Sue Giacobbe. We're talking today about how to expand in these challenging times. Now, Sue says sometimes stuff happens and it brings us to a halt. We stop engaging, we stop moving forward, we stop growing, and we stop doing life. Taking conscious action at this time is the most difficult thing to do. However, it is exactly at this time that we need to do something and keep moving. So no matter how small or gentle the action is, do it. So that could be taking a bath, a walk in the garden, speak to a friend, meditate, breathe. Any action, no matter how small, will create forward momentum and help you move through the situation and pain. As Brene Brown says, sometimes the bravest thing you can do is just show up. Remember, you never need to do it alone. In fact, we were never meant to. Now meet the amazing Sue Giacobbe. Sue is a mentor, coach, and change facilitator who is passionate about people, teams, and organizations with their potential. With over 15 years of experience in the area of personal growth, education, and business, she absolutely loves guiding her clients through the journey of change to help them achieve true transformation. Welcome, Sue.
Thank you, Adair. Hello.
And welcome to everybody who has dropped by. So we did pop the little request up earlier, a couple of minutes before we actually started. If you are here, please drop your name in the comments and let us know where you're from. We'd love to know that you're here, that you're watching, that you're with us, because Sue has got some amazing things to share today. So,
and the more the merrier, I say.
Oh, absolutely. Let's have a party. So, I'd love to know a bit about your journey, Sue.
My journey, I am currently a life coach and really loving life, and I have been fortunate to have a great run of different careers in my lifetime, but it hasn't always been that way. So going back quite a few years ago, I was married at 18, and I had 4 beautiful children, and I still have them and have some grandchildren now, which I adore. But in that journey of my marriage, it was a difficult one and an abusive one. And there came a time where I had to flee my home with my 4 children. So I fled my home and grabbed the kids. We went, moved away from the house and started over again. Wow. And it was a very challenging time, because when I left, I actually left with no belongings, just a few clothing items for the children and myself, and we began our life again. And with that came the ups and downs that come with, single parenting, dealing with the situation that was at hand, and overcoming, I guess, the beliefs that I then had developed about myself, and I had shrunk, really. I had lost that light. It hadn't gone completely, but I just was living really robotic. It was just about surviving. I just needed to get through to the next day and the next day and the next day. And come forward, to where I am today is very different because of the choices I made along the way. And they weren't easy, but I decided that I wasn't going to just be on the treadmill every day. I needed to reconnect with myself, remember who I was as that being that I was created to be, and reconnect with life and those around me. And so that's what I did. I went on a journey of transformation myself, and it can get tough on that journey, but what's on the other side is way worth it compared to staying in that stuckness that I was. So, and here I am.
And here you are, like absolutely glowing and learn from, those experiences. And, actually I had a similar but different, same but different experience. And I ended up, I guess the thing with that is that what we do is we use those experiences and what's, sort of that they help to shape and mold us. And I'd say, as awful as those experiences were at the time, I wouldn't change them for anything, because they help mold us and help us become the people that we are today. And that's absolutely drawing on those experiences too, to have empathy for people who are coming through that. And I would guess and say, because I used to think that everybody else had charmed lives and mine was shit.
And that keeps you quiet too. Like I thought, there's something wrong with me, that my life is so bad and everybody's got theirs together. There must be something wrong with me.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. It's like, what is it? What is it that I'm doing wrong? What is it that I'm not measuring up against? And what is it that's not? And I think that's something that when you put together the, and I'm looking at it now, the expansion model, I think this is something that really can be an eye-opener for a lot of people and help us to, to be able to go, so that's where it all fits in the scheme of things.
Yeah.
I just wanted to talk a little bit, ask you about what you're doing before we get into the expansion model, and we can relate it to what's happening in today's world, because I feel like it doesn't seem as bad right now, but what it has been like is like the rug has been pulled out from under the globe, really. Yeah. Someone got, and it's like just ripped out the rug, and that's like, all right, now see. It's like the universe is telling us to go stand in the naughty corner and have a rethink. But
yeah, and I was expressing with someone that this is something we're going through together globally at the exact same time, whereas there are other things that have happened, and we watch the news or we read the news about something that's happening somewhere else, and we go, oh, that's terrible, but it's not impacting us at the same time. So it's a disconnect. You can sit back and go in our comfy homes and watch people starving. You go, oh, that's terrible. But this is something that's happening globally. We're all impacted at the same time, financially, economically, socially, mental health. There's just so much. DV is concerns of increase, and there have been more calls into DV centres and more mental health calls and requests for help. So this is
I was really pleased to see that the government had actually responded to helping mental health, because I have a background in community services and working in, not as a mental health nurse, but definitely helping people who are disenfranchised, and working, in an area that where this was obviously pre-COVID, but definitely there is a call, there is a need for people to help people. And I thought it was really good that the government's been helping us recognise that call, because it's got the mental, the spiritual and the emotional impact that come along with being confined to your family, having to be expected to be a homeschool or a distance learning, so having to be working from home when when you're not used to that, being just I'm curious, what sort of impact has that had for you? And also people who are watching, I'd just like to acknowledge, is it Karen? I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly.
Librarian.
Is Nelson Herbert. So, okay, so she's given a business a little plug. Go you, that's awesome. So, a VA, that's really cool. But if you are watching, I think it's always a good idea to talk about some of the challenges that we've had, because and then you will share with us your expansion model that will help us get through these challenging times.
Definitely. And it's interesting speaking to different clients, the different impact it's had on them. So young mums with children who are either working and studying themselves, and now they've had to take on homeschooling. And, as much as they love the idea of having their children home, it's been a really challenging time. In the practical sense, because they don't go outside of the home. Everything is within the home. And so there's no break from one another really in an external environment. And so all of a sudden, here are these mums that are trying to do everything in the one space, but also manage that time. And they have no alone time. Now, add that some anxiety issues that they might have had prior to this, and everything becomes heightened. And then add the uncertainty of whether they'll keep their job or not through this time or after this time. So definitely the issues are around, I have found, around anxiety, uncertainty, not being prepared to be a teacher, really.
I know. I mean, I had a lived experience of that, if you don't mind me sharing.
Please do. I'd love to know how it's impacted you.
I'm sitting here smiling, but really it's like, it has been interesting, because my granddaughter, who is 6, she's in year 1. She's been home for over 2 months. So, and she went back to school yesterday. So the decision to take her out of school after a couple of weeks into the new year, into the school year, because we live on an island, and at that point there was a 6-week-old baby in the house. And so the decision was made, because a bit of context, I live on an island with my daughter and her partner and their 3 children. There's a 6-year-old, a 21-month-old, and a 4-month-old. So back at the beginning of the year, they made the decision to take her out of school because of the baby. And they said, well, if there was no baby in the house, it probably wouldn't matter. But, we didn't know back then. So the decision was made to take her out of school. And she was probably one of a handful at that point, until the schools formally said, we're moving the holidays forward, and the students. So I think they've probably been out of school for about 6 weeks. But yesterday was the first day that they actually went, okay, we're gonna go back to school, and they started with prep in year 1. So there were some kids that were still at school. But the issues that happened here, what happened, and I'm sure it's the same in every household, it's got to be, because again, that just but
no.
The first day, this is in Queensland, the first day it was all right. So it was okay, I guess, when there was a handful, and my daughter was getting little tasks that were being emailed from the teacher to do. But then when it became a formal decision to keep the non-essential workers' children at school, and the rest of the children had to go, or if you had to keep your children at school, if your child needed to be home, they had to stay home. Then we had access to the curriculum and the portal, which crashed on the first day. And then, but there were little things like my daughter going, I don't know, like she's in year 1, but I don't know. I've got a 4-month-old or a 3-month-old then, and a 20-month-old, and a 6-year-old that she's trying to not homeschool, but help with distance learning. Their computer they're not big on computers, unlike me. There was an older computer. There was no ink for the printer. There was all of this stuff. And it actually culminated in my daughter, bless you, Crystal, you have the patience of a saint. When she had a meltdown, I understood completely.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was like, I'm not doing the best by my child, and I'm not able to give the younger ones what they need. And I'm not a teacher. They came, you know what? It was the science experiment that got
those bloody science experiments.
It was interesting because compounded with being on an island, they actually had to get science packs from the school. Now, if you're near the school, you can just pop down to the school and pick them up at the office. But for us, going across, I know we make a choice to live on an island, and it's beautiful and I love it. But it's actually when you have to, just pop across to the mainland, it's actually, you're looking at about an hour and a half. So it's not, if you're going to the shops, you've got half your day pretty much gone. So you sort of plan it. So getting the stuff to do the science, which she found out that she needed the day after it was due. It was all that timing. And then the printer, we couldn't actually buy any ink for the printer because there wasn't any in the shops. So getting the paper packs, and they were producing the paper packs, and we could pick them up the day after we needed them for that week. So it was, there was a lot of stuff that was just the little road bumps that made it harder than what it could have been, I guess. But when it came to go back to school, the 6-year-old went, well, actually, no, I'm actually quite fine here. Thank you very much. And the thought of dropping her off at school, because she was used to going into the school with her mum. And so there was tears around that as well. Yeah. So it's, from on a personal level, it's like your heart breaks every step of the way.
Yeah. So, and just as you readjust to a new norm, then it changes again. And that's the thing. It's not knowing, how long everything's going to last, how long will isolation last, and how long will I have to stay away from my job. I was speaking with a young woman, and she said, I can do the strategic stuff, but the fact that now I'm isolated socially and I can't go into work and do the things that I enjoy doing and interacting with the people that I interact daily, that, she said, I'm really struggling with, and I don't know how to overcome that, because the practical stuff I've sorted, done, set up the kids, set up a space, okay, but there are just some of those things that are out of my control, and I don't know how to manage that.
So that's a whole other aspect for people who are, so this is from, they call me mama, I'm the grandmother, but, so I'm a little bit removed, but I'm observing it. Yes. And then there's the story from the person who's in the middle of it. My daughter in Perth has a 14-year-old, my grandson, I love my grandkids. He's going, oh, good, no school. Go on, Mum, make me. That's a whole different story. Just got them on this side of the country.
And I found that, because as you know, I'm a grandma too. And I love my grandbabies, love them. I've got 2 in Melbourne and 3 here. And I really have missed the contact with my grandbabies. But the grandbabies here who I saw on a regular base, and we would hug and cuddle and do story times together on the couch, I really miss that, and I notice how much I actually need that, that contact time and the that just connecting with them and being able to get really grounded and just be the child within to let play with my grandchildren. So it's interesting, the different things. And the other day, because I care for my mum, I've been really careful about contact and where I have contact, and that's why I haven't seen them. But the other day, on Sunday, they did a drive-by to say Happy Mother's Day and drop my daughter off. And my grandson was in the car and he's reaching out and he said, but I want to hug you, Yaya.
That's another.
Yeah, and I'm like, I want to hug you too. And he's like the little lips, you know. And I thought all of these things too, the little ones that are trying to understand, what does this mean? Why can't I hug you now? You know, so the complexity of issues on so many layers that it's not our norm. I would love to know, you know, from the audience what are the challenges you are facing, whether it's, you know, live or on the replay? What are the challenges you're facing, and what's kind of caught you off guard in this COVID-19 time that we're facing? Yeah.
Oh, well, and when you're saying that about, you know, the hugging and the being close to them, when I came back from Adelaide, it was just before they closed the borders. It was, and I'm thinking, if I'm here another week, I won't be able to go home. Just found a home after being homeless for 12 months. So this is great. I found the kid that would take me in, which is, I mean, I'm sure they all would have. But, yeah. So, but it was that was something that I was going, if I have to be in isolation anywhere, I had to be here on Coochie Mudlow, because it was just that, and I was actually feeling that almost panic that I wasn't able to get back.
Yeah.
You know, if they closed the border. So I'm so grateful. And then I went, I'm going to put myself in sort of a self-quarantine from the kids for 14 days after I get back, just to and knowing that they were there and I was here, and it was like so near yet so far. But after 14 days, it was fine, and you know, it was really good that we, you know, because I knew I'd be okay, but you just got to go, all right, well, I'm going to take every precaution I could. So that was a tough couple of weeks, but I was okay after that. So, you know.
And the reality is we are going to be okay. We are okay.
Yeah.
It's just adapting to a whole new way of doing life. And it has been a whole new way of doing life. And, you know, there have been challenges, but there have been some really great things that have come out of this too.
Yeah.
People actually having some good quality family time.
Yes.
Life has been so busy that you kind of pass each other by, like, you know, I'm picking the kids up, I'm dropping off the kids to a sports thing, you know, back and forth, or, you know, I even know just I don't have kids at home, but work was keeping me very busy and I was out a lot. And now everything is kind of from the home. It's also giving people the opportunity to just stop and be and breathe and reflect and do things like read a book where they might not have had the time. So it's this really interesting maze of situation and you know, challenges and opportunities both at the same time.
Yeah. And I think if you're a person who likes change, then you're probably going to adapt reasonably well. But if you don't like change, and I think, you know, particularly the older generation, I know my mum struggles a little bit. My heart goes out to my mum. She's, you know, I felt that she's caring for my stepdad who has Alzheimer's and dementia, and she actually had him booked into respite, and then they said no because it was all, she really needs a break. So I was there helping her for a while, but it has been particularly hard for some, you know, because that's their world is already small, and then it's just gotten smaller. And you know, so there is, you know, and it's hard because you can't go, all right, well, can I get someone to come in and, you know, sort of it's cost prohibitive to have someone come in and care for him on site. And, you know, so there was just a whole range of issues. So everybody has been impacted in some way, shape or form. But I just got, we've got Roz saying she's popping in before she's got her own live stream happening. She'll get back to the replay. A great subject it is. And I think we've also got a couple of others here as well. So if you want to share what your challenges have been through this curious times, as I call it, please feel free to do that. And Sue, you have some tips and hints and some things that we can do to help us get through if we're at the end of our tether. What would you?
I think the main thing is to stay connected in whatever form you can with the outside world. So I love that we have digital assistants. I love that we can do Zooms. I love that we can do FaceTime and be connected still in a different way. So we're learning, you know, how else to stay connected. It's really important to reach out and speak to somebody that you feel close to, that you feel you can trust, and you can be completely open, because the reality is we are all struggling at different levels with different aspects of COVID-19. No one is unaffected by this. And so, you know, don't feel ashamed or, you know, embarrassed or guilty or any of those things that we can feel when we kind of stay introverted about our situation. Speak to someone, reach out, do things like meditation. Meditation is a great way to just get grounded again and lower the adrenals that happen when we get stressed and anxious. So just time for meditation. If you've got, you know, a spot in the garden, no matter how big or small, or if you've got a space in the house, which is just where you can be and uninterrupted and have the toilet. I remember when I had 4 young kids, the toilet was my space. Or the shower.
I remember when I had 3 young kids and there was always peace even on the toilet.
Like, I'm in the toilet, go away. So find whatever that space is for you, and do some of the things that you've always said, oh, I'll do that when I have time. Keep yourself occupied in a different way. Notice your thoughts. Journal. Be the observer of your thoughts. Don't allow your thoughts to take you down a rabbit warren, which we can. It's like we get into this panic about things and we start to just go off in our mind, and it just takes us in this place where it is not a good, healthy space. And we all do it. So don't give yourself a bad time when you do it. But when you notice that you're doing it, stop it. Somebody said, I can't remember who it was, Susan Ingleton. She said, she puts up her hand, she's now stop.
Yeah, because you get those loops, what they call it, the monkey mind. And I did a trick that is useful, and I would pull a face at it. So if I was standing in the queue at the supermarket, or if I was whatever, if I could, when I became aware of it, I'd just go. I would make myself laugh because it was like a physical thing going, like, Suzanne, stop her. Like, and then I go. So if you see me in the supermarket going like, you know that I've got the monkey mind happening. I'll just be aware of it.
And I learned that I would fight it, and fighting it doesn't actually help either, because the more you try to fight it, the more you get into this state. So I would just welcome it, say hi. As soon as I would become aware of going, oh, hello, it's you again. Yeah. Thanks for popping by. You can go now. You know, it's crazy stuff that we do. It sounds crazy. But for me, it was just to interrupt it and change the way I saw it.
Yes.
And acknowledge what it was. It was just a thought.
Yes.
It was no more than that. It was a thought.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we do often get that.
And so writing things down.
Oh, go on. Are you there?
Yeah, it was just saying that writing things down sometimes just helps journaling. I don't know, maybe you lost me for a bit, but I'm here. But journaling also helps because it gets it out of the head and onto paper. Yeah.
Yes. So you've got a model of expansion. Did you want to share that with us?
Sure.
I'll just pop this in as well because I think this is really cool. Let's see. The expansion model. So just some of the things that I do, like we were talking earlier, I found that I was really, after 4 days at the computer, and I had the monkey mind going crazy, and so I actually step away from the computer. So I did take, I think it was probably about 2.5 days where I just spent very, very limited time at the computer, and I felt fully recharged, walking around the island, getting sunshine, fresh air. That, and the meditation as well. Sometimes it just might mean just stop and breathe. So
yeah. And just even changing environmentally where you are. So, sitting at the computer and then changing that, getting up, walking away, and even, a 5-minute walk. It's amazing how much of a difference that will make. Yes. Or sometimes I put on some music that I really, really love and just shifts my mood.
Yes.
And I love to dance and I love music. So just movement. I know, my husband sometimes looks and thinks, okay. But it helps me.
Doesn't matter. We've done the Zumba, cross-country Zumba.
I like that.
My daughter's a Zumba instructor. She's in Perth, and we have had Zumba sessions with her in Perth, her daughter, my granddaughter in Adelaide, and myself and the 6-year-old granddaughter here in my room. And we've done Zumba, like cross-country Zumba, which is, so that's one of the things that's come out of it, which is really, and I love getting the body moving, getting the blood flowing. So that really helps as well.
My kids and I like playing Yahtzee. So my son and his fiance in Melbourne, and we Zoomed each other and we played Yahtzee. They had a Yahtzee.
Oh, cool.
And we played Yahtzee, and they did shots, and it was a fun night. It was, we were thinking out of the box, and something different. Yeah.
No, I think it has provided a way for us to connect with people, like you said, your son in Melbourne, my daughter in Perth, and my son in Adelaide. We probably talk more now than what we did when I lived there.
Funny, isn't it? How all of a sudden connection has become really important to us.
Yeah, it really is. It's So let's just have a look at this expansion model. So how can we go from the monkey mind doing this stuff, knowing that when we get stuck on that roundabout and going, all right, well, I'm so stuck in this, I can't move forward. And so does the expansion model. Do you want to explain how that might help?
Yeah. So we do get stuck. We get overwhelmed. We procrastinate. And over the last 2 years of working one-on-one with my clients, I can see a pattern that has developed. And I ran a case study program to, I guess, confirm some of the things that I picked up. And the reality is, no matter what the presenting issue, it always ends up kind of coming back to the core thing of our beliefs, which is right at the center of this model, as you can see. So what we look at with my clients is we start off by setting a goal. So people say, I want to achieve this, but I'm a bit stuck and I'm a bit overwhelmed and I never seem to succeed and I don't know how to do this. And then, they don't automatically think, oh, it's my thoughts. It's, oh, I don't know how to do it. So we start by setting their goals and we look at it, okay, what is it that you want to achieve? That's where the starting point is. And the goals really, what are the goals? They're our roadmap, if you like, to our desired destination. So we want to go here, And this is the map that we are putting together to arrive there. When we explore that, some people say, yes, I have them in my head. I have my goals in my head, but not necessarily do they write them down. And not necessarily, if they do write them down, are they somewhere where they're visible and they're a daily, reminder of what it is that they want to achieve. So they've kind of gone, yes, I know what my goals are. I know where I want to go. Why aren't I getting there? But it's the, that point from the writing them to arriving, there's a whole road there that isn't followed. And that is taking the action. That is being motivated daily to take those steps. And a lot of the times is because the micro steps haven't been looked at. So we've written the big goals. This is the destination. My gosh, that is a huge gap between the initial goal and where I want to arrive. So then it's about breaking those down. As we break those down, there is some incongruency sometimes for people. So then our next step is we look at our values, because our values are really about who we are. Our values are, there's a quote that by Elvis Presley, and it says, values are like fingerprints. We all have them, but what we leave behind represents who we are.
Okay, I did not know he said that.
Yeah. I've paraphrased his quote, but I love it because I think here it is. Values are like fingerprints. Nobody's are the same, but you leave them wherever you go. Right?
That is really cool.
Yeah, I love that. And so values also, knowing our values is knowing ourselves. And our values are the backbone of self-respect, right, for ourselves. What we work out is sometimes the values that we have and the goals that we set are not congruent. They grate each other. And that could be because the values that we think we have or we say we have sometimes are the values that we've adopted from other people, or because we think that's who we should be or how we should be.
Yeah.
And so then what we desire and who we think we are and what our values are don't meet. So knowing our values is a very important step to how we move forward. So that's the next thing we look at, is actually identifying our true values. I had a client who we started working, and when we did the values bit, she came back and she said, here are my values. And it was this beautiful wavy font, and it was all just very, very pretty. And then about 4 weeks into the program, when we did a lot of work and revisited her values, I said, now knowing what you know about yourself, go back and revisit your values. And so she revisited her values, and what she came back with, she said, oh my God, these are my values. These are who I am. And the font was even different. So the values, even the way she wrote it, and I say that and I get goosebumps because the transformation that happened for her just in that exercise was beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
And so from that point, we then revisited her goals and where did she really want to be. And I said the values are the backbone of self-respect. Self-respect is knowing solidly your own worthiness, loving yourself, being able to be true to yourself and not be affected by other people's opinions. It's like, I can hear you, but no, I'm feeling good about where I stand around this.
Yeah.
And then it's also being able to teach people how to treat you because the way you treat yourself. I don't know in your experiences, Adair, we talk a lot about confidence and self-esteem, but self-respect, we forget to notice really how important it is in our life.
I think absolutely it is. because it makes total sense. And if you're not respectful of yourself, like you said, I love that idea of going, all right, how you treat yourself, it shows other people how you expect to be treated.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And as self-talk and the things that you say, even little things like, oh, my God, I'm so dumb.
Yeah.
The self-talk, because we talk to ourselves, we never speak to our kids like that, or our friends.
Yeah.
So we can be our own worst enemy, I think, if we're
Yeah.
not aware of it.
Yeah. And so the more solid we are in our values, in knowing that, and the more grounded we are in who we are, that self-love, that self-worth, we don't need somebody else to make us feel worthy. It's lovely to get affirmations, but I'm not going to crumble either if somebody critiques me, right? And that whole essence of autonomy, then you are autonomous over your life. Then the next level that we look at, and sometimes they appear in different ways for people, but these are all the levels that we look at. And then the next area that we look at is self-responsibility. And responsibility can be a heavy word for people, because it's like, oh, why do I have to be the responsible one all the time? But self-responsibility actually is a very empowering state to be in, to be self-responsible. It gives you freedom of choice, freedom to make decisions, and freedom to take charge of your life.
Yeah.
When we aren't responsible for our own actions and where we want to take our life, we hand over our power to someone else or something else.
So that sounds like a bit of a victim mentality when we get into that sort of state.
Yeah.
And it's that's not empowering at all. So I think I love that idea of self-responsibility, self-respect, which leads to self-responsibility and taking responsibility for what everything that happens in your life.
Yeah. And, bad stuff happened to me, from a very young age. Bad stuff happened to me. That happened to me. I wasn't responsible for what somebody else did. But what I am responsible for is how I move on in my life. I don't need to, allow that to rob me of my true identity and my true personhood. So if I choose to stay as a victim and blame everything that's happened, I will stay small. I will stay stuck. I will stay in a place that I'm not happy about. I will lose my joy. And I remember the one thing that used to tick over in my head as, life's journey took me through a challenging time was I choose life. It was a really interesting thing that was the little thing that just kept the voice in my head was like, no, I choose life. And so when we become responsible for ourselves, we choose life.
Yeah, I love it. I choose life.
Yeah.
So, yes.
I'm not going down.
I'm not going down. I always had this thing. One of my books is going to be called "Don't Tell Me No," and I hate double negatives. I might change the title. It's just a working title, but it's the same thing. It's basically I'm choosing. Yeah. I'm choosing life. I'm choosing my life, and it's about I love that. I love it. I choose life. I have to remember.
And there were many times where I just wanted to stay under the covers and not pop my head back out. Like there were many times that I thought, I just can't do this. Like this is too much stuff to deal with. But every time I thought of that, I thought about, what do I want at the end of the day? Who do I want to be really? And if it's going to be, it's up to me. Nobody else can change that. It's only me that has the power to take charge of my life and take it where I want it to be. It's not easy, but I'm not going to let anyone take that away from me, was my thing.
No.
But sitting at the core of all of this, and this is the exciting thing, sitting at the core of all of this as we peel away the layers is the beliefs, right? Mm-hmm. Our beliefs that we hold. And beliefs are just I guess a collection of thoughts, perceptions, stories, experiences that have formed these ideas that we have. And I love the belief principle.
Stephen Aitchison.
Stephen Aitchison.
Isn't that great?
I couldn't think of his name just then, and I'm like, I'm interviewing the man in a couple of weeks' time.
Oh, how fantastic!
I'm so excited because I love his work. And I love how he says that beliefs are an intangible soup of nothingness. Because it's like, where do these thoughts come from? We by default have these thoughts. They just come all the time. We don't even try to have them. They're there. When we realize, though, these thoughts that we've kind of collected along our journey of life from a very, very young age, when we didn't even know we were collecting them, when we realize these thoughts have the power to either expand us or keep us small. This is the reality of our thoughts. They are powerful. They are powerful either way. They are powerful to keep us a victim, or they are powerful in keeping us growing and shining and connecting to life and having joy and being, who we want to be with whoever we want to be. This is the power of our thoughts. We do have a choice, and this is where responsibility comes in. We have a choice of what we do with the thoughts that come up in our mind. We can become aware of them and choose which way we want to go and start to rewire our brain. And I love what the brain can do. Science backs this. It's not woo-woo stuff. This is science backing.
Yeah.
We can retrain our brain. We just start one thought at a time. One decision at a time, one belief at a time. I'm not good enough is a belief. It came from somewhere. It doesn't matter anymore where it came from. The reality is it's there. Whether it's, something happened or it's something you created, it's there. Our choice is, what are we going to do about that thought? So the way we look at it is to look and see where in our life, for example, I have clients amazing clients, and with achievements that have just been, they've been on the cover of Life magazine, Time magazine, and their thought has been, I'm not successful. I don't achieve anything. And so we sit and we say, where in your life has that not been true? Tell me times in your life where you've achieved something. You've made some eggs. You've made a cup of tea. Anything, no matter how small. And so we start to build a library of where I have achieved. So I can complete tasks. I can achieve goals. And little by little, we reframe those thoughts. We change the language behind our conversation, because the language and our thoughts are very connected. What we say, we think, what we think we say. And as we shift those, so does our mindset shift. So do our behaviors shift. And so that opens up then and flows right through to the top again of where our trying to achieve the goals that we want to achieve in life. And this is how also we combat challenges in our life.
Really, I love that model, the expansion model. I just popped it off the screen there for a moment, but the way you've described that, it provides a pathway, I think, for people to be able to move from where they are, if you're stuck, to living in a space where you're actually living the life that you're designing and a life by choice for yourself. I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
So,
and what we found is that no matter at what point you are, if it's setting goals, there's a belief that comes in that throws you off your goals. If you're setting your values, there's a belief that comes in that throws you off your values. If you're, building your self-respect, there's a belief in that. And it just keeps, and it's working through until you work through those beliefs and change.
Yeah. No, it's amazing model and amazing what you're doing. So how can people connect with you? What's the best way we can?
Yeah. So my Facebook page is Sue Giacobbe, my name.
Make sure it's up here.
And so connect through me through Facebook page. My email address is sue@suegiacobbe.com.
So what we'll do is I'll get you to maybe pop back and we can pop them in the details, the comments, and I'll also pop them in the body of the post. So it'll be up here.
Yeah.
If you're on My Time TV live, if you're on another page, you will need to come over to My Time TV to get these details. So
and also my mobile number, people can text me. So any of those three are easy. There's also my web page, but I'll put all the we'll put all the information,
all the details together.
Yeah.
Okay. So is there any final words or tips or that you'd like to share before we wind up with?
Just that, we were born amazing beings. We were born, I believe, this bundle of light, of joy and peace and harmony and love. And life comes along and stuff happens. But this stuff that are challenges are also our opportunity to grow and expand and become and reconnect back to that initial light that we are born with. And so that becomes our journey. That becomes our choice of how we go down our journey. But the most important thing, I think, is we don't have to do it alone. Reach out, speak to someone. Everyone goes through stuff. And so I'm so grateful for the people in my life that journeyed with me. And I'm here today because there were so many people along the way that have helped or journeyed with me so that I can be the person that I am again today. So don't do it alone.
And I love that when you that last line you said we shouldn't do it alone. We can't. We really can't. So that's a really beautiful message, because I know when I wasn't feeling my best or brightest, I found it really difficult to reach out and ask for help or ask for support, because that was just something that I just couldn't do.
And I was there for a long time. I kept a secret for many years from everyone, from my family. Nobody knew what I was going through, because I couldn't, there was shame, there was guilt, there was embarrassment, there was protecting people, we're created for relationship. We're created for community. And so that's what we're here for. We're here to hold each other up and support one another. Yeah.
Well, that's a beautiful message. So, and what you do, people can come. You can do I'll just pop it up here, because you are. If people want a session, a 30-minute session with Sue. Actually, we're not typing yes and check your messenger box. That's this is just type yes and Sue will get in touch with you.
Yes.
By the magic of television, here's one I stuffed up earlier. So
this is what we prepared earlier.
Which was wrong, because we didn't actually connect the chat bot, because I've had some issues with the connectivity between Facebook and the chat bot. But that's okay, because we are here. And Sue, if you just type in yes, Sue will come back, and she'll connect with you and have a 30-minute free. 3 free. 30
Free.
free. Oh dear. So thank you so much. It is your show.
I love doing it with you, Adair. It's always fun chatting with you and playing with you.
I know, it's so much fun. I'm just wondering where your logo's gone now. I'm just having a is it still up there? And
it's in the corner in a part of the world above Australia.
It's actually gone from my screen. I can see it.
I can see it.
Yeah, I can't actually see it. So I think we've had some gremlins in there, but that's okay, because that's the beauty of doing these live broadcasts, isn't it? We can be raw and real, and
can I say,
yeah,
if anyone's got any questions that they're watching the replay or they've gone away and thought about it, if anyone's got any questions, please either type them in here. Can they type them in here? I don't know.
Sure can.
Or jump into my Facebook page and ask me the questions. More than happy to give some more clarity or information as you need. Yeah.
Beautiful. All right. So, well, it's been a pleasure. We don't catch up often enough. This has been absolutely delightful. It's been a while in the making, but we're here, and totally look forward to seeing you live many, many more times now.
Yes. Thank you so much, Adair, for having me. It's an absolute pleasure.
It's a pleasure having you here, and thank you for sharing your message. Bye, everybody.
Bye.